Don't be profane.
Profane news!
Well, thank you again for showing up on Profane News. Tonight we have our guest, Triggered Newscast, and Rouge Research. Thank you both for appearing. Cass, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your channel.
Absolutely. So, I decided to create a channel about a month ago because I was just fed up with the Democratic Party. I was a little irritated with a lot of the ways the policy was going, and because I have kind of a twisted humor, I decided to start making some satire about it. So I was originally a burnout or a Bernie supporter. Eventually I moved on, thought I was a progressive, and realized the only thing that they wanted to progress is the same Democratic agenda that got Hillary Clinton 2 failed campaigns. So on top of that, I decided that I should just interject my opinion into the world because all of the ideas that I had felt weren't being represented by any of the talking heads on the mainstream media, including our beloved Fox News. But quick was I to realize that they'd just hire shady people like Donna Brazile who were just handing Hillary Clinton all of the fraud of her election. So I got fed up with listening to the news from other people and decided to create my own channel to infuse my sarcasm, my attitude, and the research that I was already doing into the world. And somehow I broke through the YouTube algorithm and got a little bit of success in the first month that I've been on YouTube.
Well, we are really happy to have you here at Profane News. The first time I just started laughing my behind off is when I came across your liberal snowflake video. Just had me rolling. Thank you very much, Triggered Newscast, for triggering us every day. We appreciate it. At Rouge Research, thank you for appearing on tonight's show. Go ahead and tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what your channel is.
Well, thanks for having me on, Profane. Rouge Research is pretty much as it states. I research anything and everything that might appeal to my interests at that time. Always moving around and researching things that people don't really research, all the way from facts about cheese to evolution of shoes.
Rouge Research, one of my favorite videos of yours was watching the tuna fish tossing. I couldn't believe it. The tuna fish tossing was actually a sport. I was a little disappointed to learn that they're no longer using real tuna.
To that, they actually recently put it back in the finalists. The last 10 people that get the best in the whole tournament, they actually do use real tunas for their tossing. So they had it out and then they put it back in. So there is still tuna.
Awesome.
Well, thank you both for appearing tonight on Profane News. If you've already been following my channel before, then you know a little bit about what I already cover. But for those of you who are just tuning in, I do go over a lot of American politics and social movements and trending research. But together, I am really glad that we have collaborated here and doing a podcast. This is going to be pretty entertaining for our viewers, putting our minds together.
I had to throw this out there. My channel is not just about cheese and random, sports. It is also about, other topics such as Clinton Foundation and some, other things in history. Right now, I'm actually on researching Mesopotamia and the Sumerians, the Assyrians. So it is, all over the place. My channel does go everywhere. If you feel like finding something random to learn that day, I can guarantee I'll have something.
In fact, I'm glad that you decided to showcase your videos on the website.
Thank you, actually, for that platform. When you started talking about it on your channel, I went and checked it out, and I'm like, hey, this is perfect. I can use you as people to hopscotch over to my channel just to find some stuff they never learned before.
Well, and that brings me back into the segue of what we're going to be talking about here tonight. So, with Triggered Newscast being really good at touching those hot item buttons to get people triggered, and with Rogue Research really expanding out there into left and right field, touching on whatever outliers are there to bring to our attention, I kind of wanted to take a look here into BLM and government agencies under these ABC names taking our lands in America and selling them out to other countries. At Rogue Research, what are your opinions on that?
Oh, well, actually, I have plans for a video on some of what you just touched on, dealing with the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One, along with a few other countries in Africa and such, about that whole scandal of, treason.
That's okay. You just said it right there. Treason. You must obviously be getting ready to put out a video, like you said, regarding the treasonous actions that these ABC companies are partaking in with selling our lands to outside sources outside of America. We will be definitely paying attention to that release, and I can't wait to see it. At Triggered Newscast, real quick as well, what are your opinions in regards to the ABC companies taking the lands and selling them outside of the U.S.?
Well, I think you guys had a really good documentary. One of your contributors provided a lot of information, not only on the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge incident, the Sugar Pine Mine incident, and how it tied into the Uranium One Clinton Foundation pay-to-play scandal. And it's really, really interesting how every scandal in recent history ties back to the Clintons, where soon we're going to hear the liberal left defending their grand queen, saying, no, it couldn't have been her. That's the Hitleritarian argument. You're just saying that because every scandal in recent history has her name attached to it. It'll be relegated to conspiracy, and we'll no longer pay attention to it. So one of the things that I found very disturbing when that whole incident was going on was the apparent murder of Lavoy Finicum. I can't say 100% that it was a murder, because I'm not sure how much of the actual footage and the police cams were ever released to the public. But I know what you saw on the helicopter. I know when you see the videos that come out from inside that vehicle, he comes out saying flat out that they don't have weapons. They're shooting at the car before anyone gets out, after Lavoy Finicum is killed. And it's a really bizarre situation where they were trying to get rid of a guy. So I personally am not an expert on the topic, but it was very interesting to me, and I think that you guys did an excellent job of really delving into those topics.
Definitely. Thank you. And we are going to be putting more out there in regards to those topics, because I must say, we at Profane News, when it started, we were watching the live cast of that event on the ground, boots on the ground, for 7 days. When Lavoy had gotten shot, we watched it live. I couldn't believe what I was seeing for the first time in front of my eyes, an American citizen being shot by our own American government. I was blown away. Honestly, I expected riots in the street that next day across America. It didn't happen. And that blew me away too. But we'll definitely be covering that more later.
Absolutely. It blew me away too. And I think that not only myself, I didn't start a YouTube content creating at that time, but what I did do was definitely start delving into videos and channels that I might have first thrown off the cuff, thinking that whatever information they had to provide wasn't legitimate. And watching what a lot of the news tried to make hyperbole out of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge incident really sparked my curiosity, and it really, really made me focus in throughout YouTube, and that's when I first really started waking up to some of the corruption that was so apparent in our government as far as seizing the lands. I think that you guys, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys have to bring on that subject.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know we really have looked at things that have happened in the past, but I think we're going to start moving forward into what could possibly be coming up. I know that in 2018, President Trump had offered 16 million acres of publicly owned land to oil and gas companies. Now, that's a pretty big chunk of land. They're saying that's about the size of Maryland and New Jersey combined.
Wow.
I actually did watch the LaVoy Finnegan assassination live as well. I remember following it almost religiously with my dad, and all of a sudden he said that there was something going on. I got to go check this out. Blah blah blah. And sure enough, I saw it looked like either drone or helicopter footage of him stepping out of the vehicle, and an officer came out of the bushes and shot him in the back of the head. Hands up. There was no weapons in the car. There was nothing that gave purpose for the law enforcement to act as they did. And that was one thing that really woke me up to what's being active in the government right now, and started me off with the Uranium One whole scandal. I became enthralled in it.
Well, I think I initially woke up to some of the more corrupt elements of our government. The elements to the story just didn't add up to me, and that was when I first really started maybe looking at alternative news with more interest. I want to say thanks for having me on. You guys have a wonderful channel, and I've loved seeing what you guys have been putting out. I'm looking forward to your next installments.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate the shout outs, and I look forward to possibly doing other collaborations with you guys. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you guys very much for appearing on tonight's podcast. We will definitely be looking forward to hearing back from both of you. This was a really good forum. I hope our viewers appreciated the content that we are going to be producing here in the future. And again, this is Profane News, Triggered Newscast, and Rouge Research.
Don't be profane.
Profane News.